Baris Bactas' love confession, that's why I'm a Sigma man. Breaking news. Baris Bactas speaks for the first time about his heartbreak. It's the reason I became a Sigma man. Welcome to Turkish series stars. Before we dive in, don't forget to subscribe and support the channel. Hello, everyone. Today the entertainment world is buzzing with a rare kind of interview, one that feels less like press and more like a window opening. In a long, unguarded conversation with Vanity Fair, the internationally adored Baris Bactas took off the armor and spoke plainly. With one sentence, "I'm not an alpha, I'm Sigma," he shattered the image people had been projecting onto him for years. He opened up about beauty, isolation, old wounds, and the nearly 5-year transformation he devoted to Sandokan. But what sits beneath those words? Who is the man behind the posters and billboards? Why does love make him cautious? Why did he choose a life of deliberate solitude? And why did Sandokan become a pivot point that quietly changed everything? Today, we don't just summarize his interview, we wade through the undercurrent of emotion and discover a Baris you may never have truly seen. If you're ready, let's begin. In this Vanity Fair feature, Baris breaks his silence in a way he hasn't in years. What emerges isn't just a timeline of success. It's a portrait of someone who's always rebuilding himself from the inside out. A story that starts in a modest apartment on the outskirts of Istanbul now stops traffic in Rome and jams airport corridors. Behind the phenomenon is a man who, despite the roar of fame, still carries a private fragility, and who has grown comfortable wearing the badge of a Sigma man. We're not tracing the steps of his resume today, we're tracing the inner migration that came with it. The pain he carried, the rebirth he chose, and the new milestone given shape by Sandokan. Because this isn't about how a man climbed, it's about how he refused to crumble once he reached the top. His words in the interview are calm but loaded. "I don't bet on luck. I bet on work, discipline, and sacrifice." That one line could be his career's thesis. Born in Istanbul, the only child of a young family, he wasn't the boy anyone would have pegged as an international leading man. But even back then, he examined everything, pushed for order, and reached for discipline. There's a family photo of him as a toddler, holding a comb like it's a scepter. His grandfather used to carry it in his pocket. That tiny snapshot, in hindsight, feels like a preview of the images seen by millions today. His parents separated when he was young, but he insists life never turned chaotic. "They always loved me," he says, with a mixture of pride and gratitude that softens his voice. Many actors reach for old traumas when they talk about their craft, about absence, abandonment, the holes they learned to fill. Baris is different. He grew up wrapped in love, and that made him someone who learned to manage feelings deliberately. That's where the discipline first rooted itself. The rough neighborhoods, the courts where he chased soccer and basketball, became his first classrooms. He dreamed of being an athlete. Even today, he admits he thought he'd be a footballer once. There's a glimmer of boyhood nostalgia when he says it, a little smile that vanishes just as quickly when he adds, with the clarity of someone who knows his own limits, "I'm a big guy. I carry weight. If I had forced football, maybe I'd end up just another name in a lower division." Accepting limits is one of life's most demanding lessons. He learned it young, and once he did, other doors opened on their own. One of those doors was language. He picked up English in grade school. Then came an Italian education, where he realized language wasn't just a bridge, it was a key. In high school he was chosen for an exchange program in the United States, proof of his range even then. That command of languages, paired with a natural ease in conversation, is part of why he became a star in Italy. After all, how many people can span Turkish culture, speak Italian, and stand as an international face at the same time? Law school marked another turn. His father asked him to consider the profession, and he listened. But the endless hours at the firm dragged him toward a quiet depression. That low, unexpected, heavy, ended up changing everything. He signed up for body language coaching and stumbled into acting. It felt like coincidence at first. Later, it felt like destiny's way of tugging a sleeve. His first audition was a paradox. He didn't land the part because he was too polished, too gym-cut, too handsome. A director even told him to make it ugly. So he did. He wasn't chasing a role anymore, he was escaping a cage. That was the pivot, where he stopped trying to fit and started shedding what didn't belong. When he speaks about the Turkish television grind, there's a steady seriousness that doesn't leave his face. You work 16, sometimes 18 hours. It was a marathon that stretched on for seasons. Sleep vanished. Social life thinned out to silence. Time was an opponent you chased and never caught. Darwinian is how he describes it. To survive, you needed muscles you couldn't see, mental stamina as much as physical. Then came Daydreamer and the Italian explosion. The trip to Naples with his father reads like fiction, a hotel closed for days, thousands of fans at the gates, an endless rush of photos, hugs, shouts. What began as a simple getaway became a 5-hour photo line. In that moment he realized how deeply loved he was. And yet, the same moment thickened his loneliness. Fame can be a constant storm, loud, bright, and full of people, and still leave you with no one to be alone with. Sandokan took him to Italy for good and launched a new chapter. Lux Vide had offered the role years before, the pandemic pressed pause, and in that pause, he built. Writing, fight choreography, physical conditioning, dialects, everything folded into one purpose. He calls it the most intense preparation of his life. Now, with the series arriving on December 1st, the world will meet a different Sandokan. Not the roaring, hard-edged archetype of old, but a captain with softness, vulnerability, and a romantic core. It fits him like skin. The interviewer asks the question everyone throws around lately: are we leaving the alpha male behind in 2025? His answer is unflinching. He doesn't see himself as alpha. He lives in the sigma space, uncompetitive, with nothing to prove, sincere yet unbreakable. Social media has jabbed at that contradiction for years, and he never seemed interested in responding. This time, he put a name to it. His remarks about beauty rippled across the gossip rags. I don't trust beauty, he says. For someone whose looks are both brand and burden, it's a striking admission. He acknowledges he has worked on his face, but insists that's never been the whole picture. Beauty can betray you, he explains, discipline won't. He trains every day and invests in his body not to worship the mirror but to steady the mind behind it. When he talks about success, he sounds like someone who's taken a philosophy course from life itself. We're responsible only for the moment in front of us. That line is now his compass. He works like a man possessed and still keeps room for surprise. Do what today demands, be ready for what tomorrow brings. Expectation, but never entitlement, that's the rhythm he lives by. And then we arrive at the most tender thread of the interview: he wants to be a father. His voice lowers. He doesn't hide the longing to build a home, but he knows the weight of it. For someone with a calendar like his, fatherhood means vacating his old life and redrawing the map. And yet, the desire grows, insistently, as if it has its own heartbeat. In the middle of this, he breathes a name with care: Yagmur Yüksel. He doesn't make promises to the camera, he doesn't dramatize what's private. But he admits that love, and the heartbreak it once brought, reshaped him. I learned the value of distance, he says. If I became a Sigma man, it's because I had to protect what was left of me. Those who have followed their journey felt that line land like a confession. The way they drifted, the whispers of reconciliation, the quiet dinners no one confirmed, he lets the audience read what they want, but he doesn't hide that she's part of the story. His relationship with solitude is a character in itself. He picks being alone even when crowds chant his name. He keeps his circle small and treats trust like a currency. The loneliness is a shield, and sometimes a cost. I carry noise on the outside, he explains, so I can keep a calm room on the inside. Sandoken becomes the emblem of this inner voyage. fragile and strong, daring and tender, hardened and sensitive all at once. Baris's version of the pirate prince is a mirror. In that mirror, you can see the man more clearly than any magazine cover allows. That's why the role matters this much. It isn't just acting, it's a language he's finally fluent in. By the end of that sprawling Vanity Fair piece, there's a pause, a kind of hush. He sounds like someone who has come home. He doesn't believe in luck or miracles, he believes in craft. Under the rigors of his routine, there's a fierce love of freedom. And for him, freedom is earned in sweat. None of it handed over without effort. His story insists that clinging to one dream isn't always the way. Life can set another road down at your feet. The courage is in seeing it and choosing it. He didn't become a footballer, but he became a global name. He didn't settle in a law office, but he crossed borders with leading roles. And now, he's reborn as Sandokan, newer, truer, simpler. Maybe that's the point. Beauty can't save you. Fame won't soothe you. The people who follow him aren't just attached to a face, they're attached to a man who took hits, changed course, broke apart, and rebuilt. That is where his power lives, in the nerve to stand unmasked. So yes, dear fans, in Vanity Fair, Baris Bactas showed the softer core beneath the myth he's carried for years. He leaned into the mystery, owned the solitude, questioned beauty's value, and, most tellingly, revealed what Sandokan demanded of him. The love he's guarded, the heartbreak that reshaped him, the careful way he says Yagmar's name, this is a deeper, more vulnerable, more real Baris than we've seen. What do you think? Do these confessions mark a new era? Is he quietly signaling a change in his life, and maybe in his love story with Yagmar Yüksel? Tell us in the comments. Like the video, subscribe to Turkish series stars, and turn on notifications. Until next time, goodbye.